All right, back to Daniel Frishberg from Laffer Frishberg to talk in an instant audit about some of these banks. Beginning with Citigroup, we're going to get the earnings at the top of the hour, about a half an hour from now, we think. Right. There seems to be a level of optimism, for what it's worth, returning to the markets this morning after the B of A news. What about Citi?
Unfortunately, Citi and B of A are not what are moving the markets, as we were saying in the last segment. The problem is that when they started giving money to the banks and diluting the stockholders, they said, well, these are preferred shares and we're really not going to butt in. As you can see now, it's tied to a program where they changed the mortgage terms in a way that the government is happy with. And what's happening now is that the government is now taking over the banks, and hopefully they'll work as well as
nationalized. There's been nationalized, thrown around.
I don't know what the difference between nationalizing it and dictating policy and crowding out all the investors, but I don't know why anyone would want to invest in a stock that keeps progressively being diluted by the government, and then the government comes in and starts to dictate policy, and the policy has nothing to do with what's good for the corporation. It only has to do with whoever the government officials are wanting to pay off. So I don't see how that's going to get people to invest more in the banking system. Or,
as you say, though, you say Citigroup is not moving the markets. So when we get these numbers, do you think the markets have already priced them in?
Yeah, during this pullback that we had, let's say that the stock market has been having a moderate pullback in an ongoing bear market rally. So there's three different time frames there. And I think what we saw during this pullback was that it happened on very little selling pressure. There aren't very many people wanting to sell, this frustrated needing to get rid of your stocks at any cost that we saw a couple of months ago.
But Citigroup, you think those numbers are not going to motivate investors one way or the other today?
Right.
That's what
they're not.
Pretty much baked in there, yeah.
But in the next few days, investors are going to start to buy regardless, because we're simply out of sellers, and buyers will start to buy.
Pendulum going the other way, right?
Pendulum going the other way.
All right, Daniel, good to have you. Thank you very much. We'll have the Citi numbers, as I said, at the top of the hour. Liz McDonald will be here along with Charles Payne for that. But we have a couple of after-the-bell reports we want to update you on real quick as well, including Intel with profit down by 90% compared to a year ago. Demand's been falling for personal computers, which isn't very good at all. But the stock actually did perform well after hours, for what it's worth. It was up about 4%. Profitability should bounce back, Intel says, after the first quarter. Now, Genentech, biotech company, fourth quarter profit did surge there by 47%. Cancer drug sales have been strong. Stock, though, slightly lower after hours on a somewhat disappointing outlook for DNA.